Hey, Nick, Eric Corrine, The Athletic. At this point in the playoffs, do you feel like, from a opponent approach standpoint, you guys and Kawhi have sort of seen every sort of approach? And to follow on that, were you surprised how much trapping Golden State applied on Thursday night?
No would be the answer to both those questions. They ran a coverage the other night I'd never seen before, which was a switch to a late blitz. It was pretty interesting. I've never seen it before, and it was well, it's innovative, right? They do a lot of innovative stuff. So I would say they probably got other things we haven't seen that we're going to have to adjust to on the fly. And I'm probably never surprised that he gets blitzed as much as he does.
Were you happy with how Kawhi and your whole team sort of responded to what they were doing?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think, Eric, I think we made, pretty good decisions. There's always, in a game, there's some things you probably would have, other outlets you would have went to on some of those offensive deals. There's other spacing you would have done, other cuts you might have made. But I thought for the most part we were trying to get to an open area, trying to get the ball to the open man. We mixed it up between cuts and rim attempts and versus kickouts for threes, and that's all you're trying to do. I mean, I keep saying it's like our offense has hit the open man, right? And that's what we were trying to do.
Tim, a couple of rows back.
Tim Reynolds with the AP. Nick, the 8 or 9 minutes that DeMarcus played the other night, how did he look to you, and would you anticipate that you guys have to deal with a little bit more of him tomorrow?
Well, you're always concerned with him, right? I think he's certainly he's a low post force. It's hard to guard him with one guy when they decide to throw it in there to him and he gets going. And then when he's playing on the perimeter, he can do both things. He's a very good passer, and he can also knock down the shot if you don't go up and guard him. So I mean, he's a big body, good player, lots of skills. I would imagine he's going to get better and better as the series goes and get some timing and feel back out on the court.
Doug over here.
Doug Smith, the Toronto Star. Yesterday you talked about Mark's ability to guard smaller guys and switch out and handle that well. What is it about his demeanor, though, that seems to fit with this team? He doesn't seem to get, he's never really openly down or up. Is that a great fit for you guys?
Yeah, I think, again, along the lines, I think we got some veteran guys that have seen a lot and played in a lot of games, and I always talk about him. He's not only played in a lot of big NBA games, he's played on the international stage at the highest level, right? I think he's got a couple silver medals under his belt or something like that. And I think, Doug, he got into the probably lowest point, maybe one of the lowest points of his career in these playoffs. He had a 1-for-9 game. People were basically writing him off as we had to get him out of the lineup and not start him and all those kind of things. And I did talk to him about it, and he just didn't waver at all. It was like, tomorrow it's going to be great was his answer. I told him, I said, listen, you're to me a great player. And I've told him that several times. And you're a great player because you've lifted the level of who our team thinks they can be. And you lift the level of other players' play. That's to me what great players do. He's also like any other guy too. Some nights they're really good, and some nights they're really not. And then they got to pick themselves up and bounce back. And he's got a strong ability to do that.
Joe, back right.
Joe Varden from The Athletic. 2 Kawhi questions. The first, what happened on that late switch to blitz that you were telling us about earlier? How'd it go?
From our standpoint, or what were they doing?
No. How'd the play turn out for you?
Well, there were several of them, right? There were several of them. So you just got to not get lulled into getting back into the open space. It's like you think it's a switch and not a blitz, and you start playing your switch offense, and then all of a sudden it turns into a blitz offense. So you got to leave your switch offense and go to your blitz offense.
And then
we did mediocre with it. Hopefully we can do better on it.
And then you won game one against the Warriors, obviously, on a night where your best player didn't have his best game, which they have never seen before in the finals. Can Kawhi get to that next level still, given the leg trouble that he's having?
Yeah, I don't think the leg trouble is much of an issue. I think, and I'm expecting him to play a lot better tomorrow.
Ethan over here on the left side.
Yeah, Ethan Strauss, The Athletic. A lot of playoff teams that go against the Warriors try to target Curry defensively and pick and roll and try to wear him out that way. But it seems like your team does it differently. Why do you go about that differently?
Well, we try to we use the term keep playing on offense, and that means that we don't like to react a lot of times to switches. When there's a switch made, we do have, I just mentioned, we have a switch offense that we play, but a lot of it is to just keep playing and not let a switch stop your offense and try to overanalyze a mismatch or bog down and wait 10 seconds to try to post feed against a smaller guy or whatever, because all it does is send you into a low shot clock situation, which are low percentage situations. We like to just keep playing, and it's easier to do now, because everybody switches, right? They're switching every night of the year now. And 5 years ago it wasn't like that, but now you're seeing it so much. You guys get a whole 100 games a year to get used to that.
Scott back left.
Scott Osler, San Francisco Chronicle. Nick, Doc Rivers called Steph Curry underrated, something like the most underrated player in the league, or something like that. They said he was underrated. Two things: does that make sense to you? And what's the biggest challenge in guarding Steph?
Well, I call him a transformational player, right? He's got kids all over the world shooting from 40 feet away, right? And I think even as you've seen, the three-point shot become so rapidly used in the last 3 or 4 years. A lot of that's because of Golden State and Steph and Clay and some of the other guys, KD, the other guys they have. And then now you're seeing quickly the league start to shoot 6 and 8 feet behind the line pretty regularly, right? That you didn't see that maybe even a couple years ago. So I think he has transformed the way people view the three-pointer, the distance of the three-pointer as well. What makes him hard to guard? He's got an incredible shooting stroke from anywhere. He's got an incredible handle. So when people are chasing him, he just dribbles and gets around them and uses all that skill that he has. He's got a great, skillful finishing game with the floaters, with the taking it right to the rim. So if you're constantly pressed up on him, and then he's unbelievable at giving it up and racing back outside the line and catching and firing a three in. So he's a handful. He can do it all.